The news is out. I see the market make its little dash, The stock market got front runned on that one. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's Doc from North America. They started perking up the stock market, I guess about 15, 20 minutes before the release of the PCE. Month over month, it was up 0.1%. Year over year, they're saying it's 2.3%. I think on Ducascopy, let's see where the calendar is on the economic calendar on that. Right there. Let's get my glasses on so I can see what I'm looking at. Get my cheaters on. All right, you can see it right. Let's see. Right. There it is right there. See on the personal income month over month. They were looking for 0.3. You can see PCE, was actually up 2.2. They were estimating up 2.3, so I guess you say that's cooling off, that 0.1. Next month they'll just adjust it again. It won't matter. It might, it'll be a bad number or whatever in the end result, and they'll just adjust it. And that's usually, let's get you over here. Let's move you over to the stock market. It's one of the best ways to look at this in the short-term action going on. Here's the intraday. We'll get the S&P up on there. There's the S&P 500. You can see it right there. This is where it came out, right there. So they popped it, and here is the 15. I guess it's like here is the somewhere around here. They started lifting it out of nowhere. It was minus. This is minus on the S&P 500 for the day, and they started lifting it. Obviously, someone was saying something, and here's your 15-minute point. Where's the 15-minute point? They supposedly they give out to the press, and the press is not officially not allowed to give it out to the public. They do this 15 minutes early just to supposedly, they can analyze it so they can give up to the date second information. Okay. So they're saying year over year, the 2.7, it was 2.6. This way they can actually, I think, see, what month are we in? We're in September, right? Going into October. So I believe they're going to use the PCE for inflation for the year. It'll use that, I think, at next month, at the end of November. Or middle of November, I guess the end of November, and that'll set the prices for January government spending. So in other words, you go into a store and it's like 20%. This is up 20%. This is up 25%. This is up 30%, and the government will say, "Oh no, it's only up 2.7." Year over year, it's 2.7 versus 2.7. So it'll use the 2.7 possibly. And so, like, you see 10% increases and 15% increases on these things. But because the PCE is so stable, I guess you want to call it, they play games, as far as I'm concerned. It's a classic government games. You can see it here. Stock market very firm overall from this action when it was minus throughout the night. And let's take a look and see where it was at the European Open. There's the European Open right around, kind of a slow night, isn't it? There's the European Open. They started, out of the Asian hours, they started selling it down a little bit. Here is the 2:30 period right here. That's the, Frankfurt and London and everybody, they knock it down a little bit, and then before you know it, it just goes sideways and then starts to find a bottom in here. Within the first hour of the European market. I guess they're like saying, don't worry, the number's going to be beautiful. And sure enough, there it is. Now the question will be, with the stimulation from from China, the 150 some odd $billion that they've put into the marketplace around the planet. I was looking at indices all morning long. Not all morning long, but I was looking at them, and looking at which ones were affected by the China market and the ones that weren't affected. And I don't have a template or a book that will say which ones are or aren't. But it's interesting to see, when the China market moves in other markets around the world. Like say I was looking at the Tel Aviv market. For some reason, that seems to be popping with the China market over the last 4 or 5 days. Whereas like the Singapore market has taken the opposite direction altogether. They're like they've been running the Singapore market up for 2 months since they unwound the big pairs trade in Japan, and it was a massive run on the Singapore market. Here, China comes out with an announcement that they're going to stimulate their economy, and Singapore rolls right over. So I guess they don't buy that much from Singapore. But they seem to front run the news, and it excited everything, and that's pretty cool. What else can we say about all that? So anyway, this stimulus from China is having an effect across the planet. It is 160 billion dollars. You can do a lot with 150, 160 billion dollars. So that definitely does excite things. That does. And so that's where we stand at the moment. Now from there, let's see. Let's just get rid of that. There we go. And let's take a look and see. Let's get back to, I guess we could say, let's look at the dollar index or the currencies and get a flavor of what's going on there. Here's the dollar index. We'll take a look at it on the old platform here. There's the dollar. They popped it, got it into the daily buy here, held on to here. Next day you can see we had a green and a red, and then you can see the dollar index sideways still, and playing with the century mark. So it's almost perfect fair value at this point, 1.100.0s. You see here it's trying to still perk up, so it's definitely in a buy. Let's grab one of these buys and let's just add one. So it went into the buy here off that pop. I guess I'm not sure, what you can say. That's where the stimulus started. Let's go over here. Take a look at the China market. Let's go over to because, China is influencing the world markets at the moment. It's without a doubt. There's the dollar index there. You can see that same strength on our beta. We're in a weekly sell. And same thing as on our old platform. And you can see it's hesitating, goes into a buy, and it's been in a buy now for a couple of days because of the green dot and that plus, and then when it went to the minus, it was still green dot, so it's in the plus. If we go like that, and then I guess if we go like this, it just makes it bigger. Let's see if we can do this. There we are, like that. You can see that, you can see that strength there, the 3 days in a buy from that, and then it pushes into the minus, but it's got a green dot, so it's still in the buy, and then today it's in the buy again. Now the weekly itself, it's been in a slow burn on a long, broad weekly view. But anyhow, let's go to China. Let's see what China is doing. China. There we are. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I did not tune into the chat line. I was just rambling right off. Let me get into the chat line here. All right, right there. There we go. Let's see what the chat line has to say also at the same time. There we go. I'm going to get into China. There's China right there. There we go. I see Robin. Hello, Robin. Good morning to you. And let's see what else we got going on here. There's the news. They popped that indice. A fantastic move. Unfortunately, it's still probably, you can see here, they started front running the dailies for about 4 or 5 days before. Isn't that interesting how they put that bottom in there? And you can see the math and everything turning into the plus. So they started front running before the action itself. Let's see if we can do this. And then move this over again like so. So they had a good idea that something good was coming. Now you can see here on the weekly signal, there was they were oversold, of course, but they really didn't get that into it. They were lifting. It was like a launch right off, boom, right in the beginning of the week. It was like I guess there's Tuesday, so they obviously there's right there is the 23rd. Matter of fact, that's showing you the 20th of it. Yeah, showing the 20th, showing the launch. Look at that launch of the algorithm itself. Our algorithm really took off. Wasn't wasn't surprised. Was not surprised. Somebody was front running it like usual, and I was looking at Taiwan. I thought Taiwan was interesting in the sense of Taiwan went into a buy a week before that. So last week it jumped into the buy. Let's put Taiwan up there. There's DAX. Where's Taiwan? There's that. There's Taiwan right there. And they jumped into the weekly buy a week of that, ahead of that, right there. They jumped in it right there. So they even had more, and that would make as a classic cyberneticist, I guess you could say, the yo. As someone who for decades upon decades looks at myself, I'm talking about, looking at different tells, like in a card game, tells, and looking at, you would think that when you hear China, Taiwan, basically what Chinese say, it's the China government actually says it's a providence of theirs, and they demand that they stop doing what they do, that type of thing. But since there's a lot of water in between, it makes it very tough for them to do anything about it, the mainland China. And so when you really think about this is my point that I'm trying to get across as I mumble here. But this is the point I'm trying to make more than anything else, is that you would assume capitalist Chinese living on a outlaw providence, basically, or their own country, however you want to look at it. The way I look at it, it's their own country. But, when you think about that, who would not be in tuned to what Beijing is doing? In other words, someone's talking to somebody's cousin is working in the Communist Party, but really is, more of a politico than they are a communist. So they're talking to their cousin in Taiwan, and they're going, we're getting ready to take care of this stuff. We're going to, X is really, talking to his insider people, and they're talking about stimulating the economy. And so why wouldn't, and you look at it here, you can see, let's see if we can make this a little bit more emphasized like that. And then we'll bring it over to here. I like how we can, this is the beta, we can basically manipulate and get a closer look, I guess you can say, like that, and try to make it, you can see that action we're having there. Then you see the same thing with our algorithm, and you can see with our weekly algorithm right there that they had a good idea. Matter of fact, you can see how it got tight, as Robin likes to say, when you're watching the manifolds and they get really tight. They interpreted that going into here. They said, okay, cousin, whoever has said that they're probably thinking about it. And you can see Taiwan was very strong for weeks before it even happened. And you can see it kept on trying to get into buys, and you can see lots of buys there, tons of buys, lots of green there. I wonder if we can make that even bigger, so you can see it even bigger. You can see lots of green there, just lots of green all the way up from green started there. Matter of fact, it really started back in here, and you had only one red there, then you had another red just today. Finally, Taiwan's probably, and I would assume someone's going to start taking profits sooner or later. I mean, when you let's look at that spike. It is a magnificent spike. So you would have to assume, if anybody knows what's going on inside of Beijing, it would be people in Taiwan. You would think that would, not Japan, not South Korea. You would think a little bit with Singapore or Hong Kong. And, I guess we should throw the Hong Kong index, but I've taken it out altogether. I just feel so sad for what's going on in Hong Kong that, how they're buckling underneath the communists, and they've abused the capitalist system now, destroying it there. So, and they got all those people locked up. The political leaders there are now in gulags somewhere. So you can see here with that spike, and we can go. Let's do this too. Let's get up on the one of the longer term charts. Let's see. How do I get there? Like that. Like that. And let's take a look at. There it is, right there. And then let's go take a look at 1 year. There's 1 year. What a wonderful move in a 1 year chart. It was getting ready to take out the lows of 24. It got down to 2007. What was that right there? I guess that day right there, 52. No, 2,666. Like sign of the devil, devil worship. Ooh, the devil. 666. All right. So what it did is it got down to 2.697. Didn't go challenge the devil number. There's the low of 703. They got down to there. They weren't going to take out this low here. And then we go to a 5-year chart. Take a peek. Realize that we were challenging 5-year lows. And you can see back in 22, I guess it is 21. In 21, the highs were in the 3,600, 3,700 area. Then we go and look at the all-time chart right here. And there's the all-time chart right there. You're looking at an all-time high of, back in 2005, of 6,100, basically. 6,000, something like that. So right there, 6,000, where's that? There it is right there. 6,124. So you're looking at a product now trading at 3,000. You're still 50% down from all-time highs. Now, I don't just pick on the Chinese, per se. I follow numbers and math. So I'm going to throw you another one up there. Here's Citibank. I'll be able to, tit for tat, do the same thing. Here's Citibank. Let's take a look at the 1 year chart. You think, oh, good. Now you're saying, Doc, how did you go from the Chinese, Shanghai index to Citibank? A perfect example of how the media hides the truth. In other words, they're not on the talking heads are not talking about. There's Citibank. Citibank was up to around $600, $666 or something like that. Now trades at $61. So in other words, they say, oh my goodness, you gotta buy it. Look at this. This is a buy. It's a good product, when in fact, it's just like Deutsche Bank is the same way. It's off like 90%, 85, 90% from its all-time highs. In this case here, China is not doing too bad, really, when you think about it. I guess it's because they fixed their currency to the dollar now. But, because there's no currency translation problems when you're looking at a product there. But, unfortunately, the media really hides these stories, the facts of it. Here we show you live on charts. China is down almost a little more than like 53% from its all-time high. Over 50% all-time high. So, I mean, how exciting can you be about a stimulus when it's 50%? It was down to, what, 50, it got down to 2,600 and change. So, it was heading for the 57%. It's like, well, yeah. Can you really be that excited about a stimulus package? Because are we really going to see changes in policy? Taxes, permits, rules and regulations by bureaucrats that slow these things down. In this case here, you look at Citibank. Citibank is run very poorly. And all it's doing now is bouncing off of its lows. It's double where off of its lows. It's almost triple off of its lows. Isn't that wonderful? But it's still 90 some odd percent off its all times. Same thing with Deutsche Bank and the rest of them. So, in other words, yeah, this is great. China is plowing some money, 150, 160 billion dollars, or what they said, something like 1.004 trillion yuan, the Chinese currency, which is fixed to the dollar at 7 point something. So I mean, it's only 150 billion. Joe Biden can give 150 billion away to somebody without a problem, not even thinking twice. So, I just try to bring reality into the marketplace itself, realizing how much the general media hides the facts. Hence, you have what is it, FX doing webinars. I do webinars. We talk about the technical analysis. We talk about not the fundamentals. Janos, the old head analyst of Dukascopy, talks about the not the fundamentals anymore. It's hard to follow the fundamentals because they're not really accurate. They're manipulated by the government departments, by the bureaucrats, constantly pushing their narrative. This is good, this is bad. Oh God, buy city, it's a bargain. Or in this case here, X is going to stimulate the economy. Jump in. I saw Tapper say that 2 days ago. One of the hedge fund guys, get out there and say, buy China, buy, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, you nibble at it. It's 50% down from its all-time highs. Of sure, buy some dividend stocks, sell some calls, buy some puts, do that stuff like I do in anything else. But nah, the media is just hiding half the facts that are always going on. The reality traders, have to use technical analysis like ourselves. We have our proprietary algorithms. You have FX showing you resistance and support lines, general trends. We're trying to, basically when we do these webinars here on Dukascopy, we're trying to give you real stuff, real things, to follow. No doubt we're not going to be perfectly right, but we have a better percentage than the fundamentals, that's for sure. All right, from there, let's go check out, let's go see what's going on in the euro this morning. Let's go see what the euro is up to this morning. We've seen where the dollar index is just basically sleepwalking. It's at fair value now, basically at 100. Let's see, we'll find it. I just added a new symbol for the euro. I'm not going to find it. Where are you hiding? We'll just keep on looking here. I don't see it now. There's the dollar index. All right, well, we'll go into the old platform for a moment and find it. Let's go there. Not there. Oh yeah, you can see the stock market is backing off there. It's starting to, get back to before the news came out. Before the news. There's the euro there, hanging out up in that area. It's in a buy for a couple of days, kind of sloppy. The weekly, what are they doing with that weekly? That weekly is right on the edge. Will it make it by the end of the day into a weekly sell? I don't know. I don't. If they put a little buying into it, let's see. What would make the euro go up? Obviously, lower rates in the States. So, I mean, I guess we watch the bond market and see how they, treat, how the bonds act today. And if they see that weakness, in rates, then you'll see more strength. And obviously, if they don't, you will not. And that's pretty much the name of the game there. I'm still searching for that new symbol on the euro. It actually updates on our system so much better. Also, Robin, if you'll notice, I fixed cotton, cocoa, sugar, and coffee with better symbols, which collect better data. They're now, so you're all signed in on those. and I got rid of the junk ones. The BZE equals F stuff, or KC equals F, is okay for a little bit, but I like to put in the longer term contract. Let's see, where is that euro? I have to. It's only like a 3-letter thing too. That's the thing with the new euro symbol. They're calling it a euro index. So we'll keep on searching for it. I'm sure it'll pop out sooner or later. My eyes will pick up on it. From there, we're going to jump over to the cable. See what the cable. Yep. You can go check it out on our beta now. It looks really good, really smoothed out there. All right, there's cable. Cable was doing some weakness this morning. You can see there's a big long tail there, or a finger type of thing going on. You can see it's trying to hold up into the plus. Obviously, the weekly there is not having any issues whatsoever. It's feeling fine, and it's not really recognizing any real weakness there, and that doesn't surprise me any, because I thought for sure that the cable is acting so strong, and it's been beating out the euro cable pairs trade. So it's I guess Europe is going through growing pains, I guess you could say. That's what it seems like to me. Germany seems to be coming back to capitalism. They're starting to smell the coffee. They're starting to realize that this socialism has not worked, and the immigration situation has not worked. Immigration, we're seeing all kinds of statistics showing immigration has been an expense more than it has been it's not, there are some analysts here in the States that tried to show that illegal immigration was a positive economically, but it's not, and their numbers are falling apart. It's the other way around. It's expensive because they're not coming here to work. Maybe that's it right there. Let's see if that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. I think I found it. Yep, that's it right there. And let me just show you. Here you go, Robin. Check out the beta on the euro now. Look at that. See, it's smooth. It shows the numbers, the whole bit, the weekly, everything is fine now. Remember how the cash one didn't want to do it right, but this one does it nice. And it's, to me, as far as I can tell, it's let me just go back to the old platform and look at the price. I think it's about the same, $11.97, and this is trading at 11.80. Let's see, 88 at the moment. So it's 1.1188 at the moment. So it's not that far off. So that's the getting the currency set right into the beta now. So we're getting figured out here. We're figuring it all out here. A sip of water. Let's go check out. Unless someone would like to see something, be my guest and put it up on the chat line. We'll go check it out. There's the Swiss. Swiss is, was making those. They were making noises like they wanted to go up, and we're thinking that it's got this type of range here. This box. I just feel that it's going to play the high 82 area, something like that. Let's see, where's that at? That is, that's the high 82s right at the bottom of this box. I figure they zigzag inside here for a while. I mean, they've shown great responsibility to their central bank. So you can see here the weekly is still in a sell for a while now. Where is it at on the spreadsheet? Let's slide up a little bit. There it is right there. The Swissy is 17 weeks now in a sell. I mean, it's going to go into 18 now. I mean, you're looking at, 26? 26 is half a year. That's pretty cool. These guys started fighting, and gals, who's ever on that central bank in Switzerland, started fighting the inflation. And they were totally tuned into it. They didn't dance and make funny noises and say things about it being transitory for a year and a half. They just rolled up their sleeves and got involved. It's like, yeah, way to go, guys and gals. All right. Let me just show you what I'm looking at here on the Swiss. We'll have to go find that for the beta, too. We'll find that one for the beta. Not this moment, of course, but finally got that one. There's the Swiss right there. I think it's just going to trade inside this range for a while. and it's been in that long sell, weekly sell from up in the 88, 89 area. You got to figure it came down from 101. Now we're trading at, like what, 80, 84. I mean, what a fantastic squeeze of the inflation. I mean, that's it's people are buying Swiss. They're not running away from it. It's not like the great experiment where they're running away from the currency. All right, and then from there we shoot over to the yen. Now I thought they were going to have a woman prime minister. There's a woman in the fight for the prime ministership, but she didn't get the backing from LDP at the end. So I thought it was really going to happen. So I was wrong. And it looks like this gentleman here, I think I actually have a picture of who's probably going to be. Where's it at? I did have a picture up there. Let's see if I can find it. Anyway, looks like they've got it figured out. It's going to be who this guy is going to be, the next prime minister of Japan. And he's supposedly like, let's raise rates attitude, He wants to, I guess maybe he's got some Swiss family. I don't know. Maybe he knows better. Obviously, he was defense minister. So, I mean, you can't really be in La La Land when you were the defense minister. You got to be with reality there. So maybe this guy is going to be a little bit more solid. You can see here, that he talked about raising rates now that we know who's probably going to be the prime minister. And you can see that dip down. When it comes to Japan, they've gone through an incredible era of 30 some odd years of, just lots of financial pain. Maybe this guy, this unwind of the $20 trillion swap is the beginning of bringing capitalism back to China again, which would be, I'm sorry, Japan. Yeah, bring it back to China too. But I mean, Japan in particular. I'm trying to find the Nikkei. There it is right there. Now, I saw the Nikkei off the Chicago Mercantile is down a little bit today. But last night, they took it up again with the China stimulus. You see it's popped. We'll see how long that lasts. Now remember, traders, stocks are a really good tool to invest on, when there's inflation. So that would make some sense here that we're seeing that strength too. You're seeing people buy the currency, or at least the currency is going down against the dollar. The dollar is losing against the currency. That's what I'm trying to say in plain English. So maybe we'll see some more strength in the Japanese market. All right, and then from there we shoot over to so that was Japan. Let's go take a look at the Great Experiment. What are they doing to it today? Just inching its way up again. It's in a daily buy since here, but it's not really doing too much. You can see it. Look at that. So close. Minus 0.01. That weekly number. It is so close. I mean, it is right on the edge. It'll be interesting to see if it closes in the weekly sell. I mean, what do we got on the spreadsheet there? You see how many months it's been in that weekly sell right there. 20 weeks in a weekly sell. Oh, I'm sorry, 20 weeks in a weekly buy. Sorry about that. 20 weeks in a weekly buy. So let's scrunch this little puppy up. Pop that little puppy. There it is right there. Went into the weekly buy back in here. There it is. And let's move that line down. Lime in the coconut. Right there. Just on the edge. And the battle goes on until to the close of today. There we are. So you can see it went into the buy back in the 34-ish area. The weekly buy back in here ran to 40. And now it's goofing off in the 38s. So we'll see what they do with that. But every time we try to define possibilities of where this thing's going to stall out, it doesn't seem to happen. I myself, when we saw that 40 pop, we were talking about it where we were really becoming concerned that this product was going to go find the 41.5, 42 area. It's got up to the 40 and change and backed off. They did whatever they had to do to try to get it underneath that 40 for a while. So I'm sure it'll hover underneath it for a while, and then sooner or later, the great experiment that Turkey is doing to its own currency will obviously impale itself in its stomach somehow or another and bleed out its financial stomach. It'll hit itself in its financial head and become more dizzier than it's already dizzy. So that is the Euro Turkish Lira pairs trade. All right, now what we'll do is we'll shoot over to the number one brick in the world, and that is the South African Rand. And you can see it's battling every day to be down, down, and down. It's trying, and we're drifting. I don't know. Didn't we just see this thing yesterday show us that it was in the 17.5 area, or low 17s? I'm totally confused from this thing all the time anymore. Let's move it up a little bit, see if we can figure that out. All right, now we'll move it back down. I don't know. This thing looks wild, but either way, the trend is down and it's stalled like one of those lines. What's a FX say something like what's he call that? The rhythm. Yeah, he draws those yellow lines and then bounce up and bounce down. And, basically we're looking at this product in particular, which I think is overvalued by at least 400 points. It should be in the 1350 or 12 area. Solely when you look at the price of, let's have it, boom, gold. The shiny metal gold. Gold has, been with the inverse relationship, finding a way to climb up from 25 to 27. Just as the South African Rand has been finding a way to climb down. And that's usually the way it works. Now, we do have a little disturbing picture of one of the metals today. And I guess you can guess which one that is since I'm saying it right after gold. And that's Mr. and Mrs. Silver. They're flirting with a sell. It's come off the lows. You can see that long little tail there. Still in a weekly buy with no problem. But for some reason, for a little while, they were really punching on it. I was like, oh no, don't tell me this thing is trying to fight its way into the sell now. I was just excited with the fact that it got over $30. I mean, we're looking at a $32 silver with an all-time high of $55. It's just as bad as looking at the Deutsche Bank or Citibank or looking at the Shanghai index. Way off from its all times. That's not good. Just not good. Not good. No. You need these things to be up near their all-time highs. Just shows you the pairs trades that are going on. From there, copper, there's this, they knew copper back in here was going to take off. Look at, they threw the buy in there 3 weeks ago. They're in a buy. And then the magic wand was waved in Beijing, and a la voila, you have stimulus. All right. From there, we're going to shoot over to platinum. And I thought, when I saw silver this morning getting beat up, I thought, oh God, what are they doing to poor platinum? But no, they're holding it up. It dipped, but by the time the American hours were here, I mean like the early ones, half in between the European hours and the beginning of the American hours, it was like they were already lifting it up. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I don't know how anybody has the guts to short this beast unless you own calls. It's the only way you sell this thing short. But there it is. There's the Jan contract, looking very fine, over $1,000, with gold trading around 2,700. It's like, whoa. All right, from there we'll go over to some energy. You can see the old platform is dancing with the weekly sell there. And let's see, you can do about the beta platform we have. Let's see how it looks this morning. There we go. I'm going to show you what we see. What we see. Oh, the beta never even went into the buy. Just the daily did. You see that? It's been in the sell for, this will be the 5th week. And we went into the daily buy. You can see we can do the moving of things and so forth. It basically kept you safe from this area here all the way up to there. But you can see it's breaking down now for the 4th day. Just sliding down. Now let's see how Mr. and Mrs. Brent are doing this morning. Let's see, Brent. I think it's that BZ way down there near the bottom. BZ, there we are. There's the Brent. I should put the full symbols in on that. But you see the same thing. You know, it's Brent and West Texas Intermediate follow each other. And you can see it was flirting with the weekly buy in the beginning of the week, just like West Texas was. But no. It's rolling over again. So, you know, as long as the election is not over with, and we are in election season, and they're voting every day now, half the country can mail things in and so forth and so on. Yeah. So, this is the name of the game. Now, from there, we're going to go to heating oil. I like looking at a major product that is being used, you know. There's heating oil. And heating oil, you know, is in a sell. It's in a weekly sell. It's been in a, look how long it's been in the weekly sell, all the way back in here. Right up in there in the, what is that? That's the $2.50 area, $2.55 area. And now we've been trading as low as $2.05. It's dropped 50 cents. It's a big move. This is the processed by liter. You know, it fuels airplanes. You know, the planes for transportation up in the sky, and it feeds this particular fuel. We call it heating oil because we use it for heating houses. But we also heat engines with it, I guess you could say. You know, in other words, we fire engines up with it. And so they always call it heating oil. And then there's diesel. This is also diesel. So you can basically use a gallon. They make them a little bit thinner, but you can use heating oil in a diesel engine, and you can use it in an airplane and vice versa. And I think they cut back on something in them a little bit. They like grades, thickness, you know, that type of thing, but they all will fire. You know, it's kerosene, basically. That's what it comes down to. I think you call it kerosene outside the United States. So, or diesel fuel. In the United States, we call it heating oil because we heat houses. A third of the houses in the United States use heating oil. You know, this kerosene slash diesel slash heating oil, you know, whatever you want to call it. All right, now from there, let's see, that's that. Let's go take a look at nat gas. Is that it right there? There's natural gas. And there's the natural gas. You can see it's been jumping up of late. It went into the sell yesterday, but you can't take the sell, of course. You can only take the profit. Why, traders? Because we're in a weekly buy. Now, what is that all about? Why, how do we have 2 weeklies? I don't know, but I'm going to spin it and see what happens. How did we end up with 2? Maybe my son's working on it or something. So there's the weekly buy. You know, it's been in that weekly buy. I guess that went into a sell there. It started here on basically the end of July. Right in here. It started the weekly buy right in there. Then it threw itself into the sell somewhere around in here for a week, and then right back into the buy again. Up in here, and you can see, you know, it's been, you know, it's moved up into the 20s, maybe 30s. Where's it at? No, I'm sorry, it's natural gas. So it's moved up into the 80s from being down as low as $2, under $2, $1.85. This is we also heat a lot of homes, a lot of electrical generation plants. Natural gas is very cheap in the States, so we use that as an energy, as a big energy source. I think we're the largest producers of natural gas in the world. And then from there, we slide over to, let's see, what did we do here? So we did heating oil, natural gas, we did Brent, and we did crude, and we did the refined product. So, I know, I've got a new Spanish company I'm following. It matches up more to the gas chart, the natural gas chart. Let's see, we'll find it in a second. It sticks out pretty easy. I can spot it. We just have a lot of things on the screen here anymore. Let's see, where's it at? Right there. There we go. Now this is the energy company down in Spain. You can see it's more like same way, like it was down around $12, $12.72, and now it's traded as high as $14.34 there. It did the same thing, I think it just almost it touched $14.13 when it went into the buy. You can see it's been in more of a buy. There's only one weekly sell there, and then back, and in the last 2 weeks in here, it's gone into the weekly sell into the stuff and started to see some weakness. We're seeing the weakness develop in the natural gas right now as we speak. Let's go find natural gas again. Here's natural gas. And you can see, well, no, it was rolling over for 3 days, and then, didn't really break down yet, and it's still in the weekly buy. So what I'm thinking is we're going to learn from this, gas stock if it's leads or if it doesn't lead. So right now, at least it matches up better. I know it doesn't sound like it does, but it's one of the better ones I found so far. And that's all I keep on doing is trying to find it better. And if this one doesn't work, I'll find one of the others. I want the one we used on Ducoscopy. If anybody could show us, put it up on the chat line or send it over in the WhatsApp, that would be great. The stock that we used to follow. And this is the stock itself. And it's, it's obviously stalled out, from the 14s. And it's been supported. I guess you could say there's a support in there in the 1370 or 1350 area. So, yeah. And so that's the magic of it all. All right, where are we at this point? So that's the end of the conversation of the energy sector, and that's nice. We really do enjoy being able to dismantle all these things. We have a rhythm. And I follow it only because no one asked me a question. Trust me, I could easily get involved in just staring at 2 or 3 products if someone asked. I mean, I would just, go after it. I have no problem at all. So I guess y'all kind of enjoy me just going through the whole rhythm of currencies, and then from currencies to metals, and then from the metals to the energies, and then from there we go and take a look at world indices. So we saw what Tokyo has done. We've shown you what Taiwan has done. And we've shown you Shanghai. Let's show you the Kospi in South Korea. Let's see, where's it at? And there, right there. There's Kospi. Let's take a look at that. Here's the Kospi. See, it's definitely enjoying the stimulus of China, that's for sure, and it's even climbing into a weekly buy right there. Then let's take a look at, this is the one that caught my eye more than this, and I mentioned it in one of my earlier ramblings today, and that was Singapore. There's Singapore. So there it is right there. You can see Singapore has been moving down on the news. Still in a weekly buy, but they took profits. Boy, you would think that the 2 best... in my head, would think that the 2 best Pacific stock indices to watch would be the Taiwanese and the Singapore. You would think that they would have the inside skinny, as we would say. In other words, they would have the inside news before anybody else, because they're the most capitalist of them all. And then from there, where do we go from there? We go over to the Nifty 50. Let's check out the Nifty 50. Where is that Nifty 50? There it is, right there. And this is out of India. You see in India, they're taking full advantage of it all. They seem to be picking up a lot of the industries that have left China. You see, this thing's been in a weekly buy for a quarter of the year easily, and that was the big unwind in Japan. So it's definitely it's had a big effect, that unwind, in many ways on the global indices. From there, we'll jump over to let's see. I can't get the oil company up. I don't know what the problem is in Saudi Arabia. We'll work over the weekend to find something out of Saudi. And I was thinking about Dubai, to see if Dubai had an index. That would be interesting. So the only one we're getting data out of right now is, where is it at? Tel Aviv, the startup nation there. Even in the middle of its conflict with the neighbors, they're still buying. Buy. Look at that. Round up. That tells me something. It's kind of hesitant, towards the highs of the last 5 months. And then China, does a stimulus, and look at where some of that money ends up. Ends up in Israel. It's just like it's ended up in South Korea, and how it ended up in Japan, and how it ended up in Taiwan. It's all lifting a lot of these boats. And here in the United States, we're seeing it here in the United States too. The influence of that move. Now let's go over and take a look at Europa. Let's see if we can get Deutsche. Where's the Deutsche Mark? Or the Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank. No, I know it is. It's the Xetra DAX. Let me find the Xetra DAX. Also, I have Brussels on there now, too. So we'll take a look at Brussels. You see the DAX is feeling the same pressure from China. Lifting nice and strong. We all are. We're all feeling that pressure. That money is running everywhere. Free money is free money, and it has great influence. Free money, it's amazing what free money can do. Isn't it amazing what free money can do? All right, there it is right there. There is Brussels. I figured, the capital of Europe, why not, or the European Union? You see, it's having its influence too. Now, remember they were remember when China was buying U.S. bonds in Brussels? And they bought more bonds than the GDP of Brussels. Everybody was like, what is going on there? And I kept on saying, it's got to be the Chinese. Of course it was. They were claiming that they were going to sell the American bonds. They still have $1 trillion of American bonds. They are not willing to let those things go. I mean, they may sell $20 billion here or $10 billion there, or then they'll go buy them back again. Brussels they were hiding. They bought $300 billion worth of American bonds, which in essence making them invested like 1.2 billion. I'm sorry, 1.2 trillion with a T, trillion. All right. From there, we'll take a look at. Let's take a look at we'll take a look at Paris, because Paris is kind of fascinating in the sense that they got a lot of issues going on in France, and they're trying to stabilize the country. And here is the CAC 40. Look at that, it's got a couple days of pop going on in it too, with daily buys, the whole bit. But it hasn't taken out any of the the 5-month highs or 6-month highs at all. And then we'll take a look at the FTSE. The FTSE right there. And not much of an influence. It's firm. It's trying to get into the buy like everybody else. But it's not. Also, it's kind of trapped in the 6-month range, It's not really. Here we are at the beginning of October. And back in April, it's not taking out the April highs, That's why it's so important to go back technically and look at things. Like when you see FX do it or I do it, we go back and we look at the history. Try to find that history. I mean, the numbers in the end don't lie. They tell you where they're at. Their actual numbers. Now, the fundamentals can lie because they can adjust them the next month or year or whatever. But that is the way it goes. All right, traders, we're out of here. This is Doc. Everybody have a safe and smart weekend. We'll catch you all on Monday again. We'll see you on Monday. TGIM. Thank goodness it'll be Monday. And we'll have a safe and smart weekend. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Hey, 52. Happy trails to you, to all our Dukascopy friends. So, thank you, Dukascopy. And we are Chicago Quant. Da-da-da. So, ta-ta for now, traders. Ta-ta for now.